It has been 7 weeks since Flight 370 vanished. Now, Malaysian and Australian officials say they might have to regroup. Joining me now, the Australian ambassador to the United States, Kim Beazley. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for being here this morning. One of the things I think that has gotten a lot of play here is what your Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, said to the Wall Street Journal. We believe that search will be completed within a week or so. If we don't find wreckage, we stop, we regroup, we reconsider. What does that mean?
Well, I think a week or so brings us to about 3 or 4 days from now, maybe a little less. Regroup and reconsider. Regroup would be to, I guess, look at the kit, see whether there needs to be additional elements added to it. It'd be to look at the search to that point, see whether or not they're satisfied that the area searched has been searched as much as it could be. Look at the math that went into making a calculation on the pingers. Look at the math that was associated with the handshake estimates, and keep going.
And by the handshake estimates, it's the signal from the plane to satellites. So is there any thought now that perhaps the pinger estimates, that is, hearing the ping and saying, okay, let's narrow the search area down, is there a thought that those estimates were wrong and it could be someplace else? And is there any thought that perhaps they weren't pingers from the plane?
Well, on the first point, I'm not sure, of course. I'm not intimate with the research. But from what one can discern, they had a very high level of confidence that they'd got the right areas associated with the pings. I think in their minds that the pings from the aircraft were good in terms of it reflecting the fact that they'd discovered the area where it was located. I mean, I think if you cast your mind back, it was a set of pings that were picked up over a long period of time, a couple of hours. There is nothing there that it could be other than that sort of recorder. So there's no other planes gone down in the area. So logic has driven them to this spot.
Right. And by that same logic, though, they may widen that spot and say, I mean, it may take a very long time, but that, okay, we thought we'd narrowed it down, but perhaps, you know, it's over here or, you know, further south or east or whatever it happens to be. If among the things you thought could be reconsidered, let's say the search area is expanded or, you know, shrunk, who decides that? Is that an Australian decision? Is that some sort of international decision? What how does that work?
Well, it's the Australians have responsibility for the search, so it would be an Australian decision. But we would obviously talk to the Malaysians about it, talk to the Chinese, talk to all the other governments involved, and keep them, as we have been, well informed about progress and calculations and where it is we're headed. There's nothing secretive about this. This is an area where we're all a bit humble. None of us know exactly what ought to be done. So you're going to be in a mode of constant consultation. The thing that the Australian government has said is, from the outset, they'll keep going on this. And we're not, at the outset, before we had the pings, there was an assumption that this could take months. And that was made clear by Angus Houston, among others, at the time. And it was taking months in an environment in which we were prepared to take months. So we'll just keep going.
So are you prepared to take months insofar as the aerial and the surface water search is concerned? Is there at some point you're going to look and say, look, we don't, the ships and the planes, at least the ships that are not attached to underwater devices, the search for debris is over here. It's so scattered that we can't be of use.
Well, obviously you may well choose to scale it down, but I don't think you can ever quite say that. You know, we lost a cruiser back in World War II. It's begun to feature in some of your stories. I see that, the Sydney. Now, that was a battle. Massive amounts of debris you'd expect to see on the surface, all of it gone. 3 months later, on Christmas Island, a shrapnel-dotted Carley float with the corpse of an Australian sailor on it shows up. That's about 1,000 miles away. The debris travels quickly, vast distances here.
Yeah, absolutely, but you have almost a dozen ships and a dozen planes out there. At some point, there has to be a decision made. Like we cannot put, and I'm assuming over a 60-year search that you didn't every day have
No.
these kind of assets focused on it. And I'm just wondering how that decision gets made, where maybe you turn it over to a private contractor and pay for somebody to be out there all the time looking.
Well, a decision would obviously be taken by the search coordinators. In the way in which we talked about a little earlier, that would be done obviously in consultation with the other parties that are involved in this. And if the air search might be adjusted, but when you say that you're going to reconsider all things, obviously that's one of the things you're going to consider. You may well also consider bringing in other underwater search equipment. All these sorts of things will be on the table if nothing is found in the next few days.
And it's also, as the last question, one of the things understood at this point is that each country is paying for its own assets that are in the region. At some point, might that change?
Well, that's the norm for search efforts like this, and I would think that would persist. The question would be who would pay for private contractors if more private contractors were brought in, but that would be a decision taken by the Australian government in an environment of great generosity. We have responsibility for this. I think there is an assumption on the Australian part that they'll bear the burden.
Ambassador Kim Beazley, thanks for spending some time with us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.